Okay. In the All-American, number 112, Come Unto Me, number 112. Hear the blessed Savior calling the oppressed, O ye heavy laden, come to me and rest. Come no longer tarry, I am over there. Bring me every burden, bring me every care. Let's go on the second stanza. Are you disappointed, wandering here and there, dragging chains about and loaded down with care? Do unholy feelings struggle in your breast? Bring your case to Jesus, He will give you rest. Stumbling on the mountain, dark with sin and shame, stumbling toward the pit of hell's consuming flame. By the bonds of sin, deluded and oppressed, hear the tender Savior, come to me and rest. On the fourth, have you by temptation often conquered pain? Has a sense of weakness brought distress within? Christ will sanctify you if your time is best. In the Holy Spirit, He will give you rest. Come unto me. Amen. Take it to the Lord. That's what He wants. We're going to be looking this first hour at the wise woman in 2 Samuel 20 there, 19:20. But next hour, we'll be looking at resting in the Lord. And so that song really goes along with just rest in the Lord. Put all your cares and your troubles on the Lord. He wants them. You don't need to carry them. He says, I'll take care of those. Once you're His and you're free from the load of sin and all these things, just let Him have the whole works. That's what He wants. And He'll take care of them. Number 281, great old anthem. We haven't sung that for quite a while. I think it was about time that we do. So let's see what we can do with that. And we'll sing the chorus on the second and fourth. On the second and fourth, we'll have the chorus. Okay, so we'll sing the first and second stanzas, and the chorus, and the third and fourth stanza, and the chorus. Okay, the stranger of Galilee. Of course, that's the Lord Jesus Christ, the stranger of Galilee.
I stood by the shore one day of the beautiful murmuring sea. I saw the great mountains throng the
I hope you know him. He's no stranger to me. He shouldn't be a stranger to any of us. We ought to be able to just pick up and know him personally because he wants you to. Once you know him, if you know him, you know the Father. How wonderful it is to have the Father and the Son and know both of them personally. Well, that's what the Lord wants for you. That's why the whole plan of salvation has been worked out. It was for those reasons. We'll look at that more next hour, but right now let's turn to 2 Samuel chapter 19. 2 Samuel chapter 19. At the end of that, we'll just review the very end as David is coming back to Jerusalem. He's going to be back in his rightful place on the throne there in Jerusalem. And so his friends and people come out to meet him, and this is kind of a summary of that. And we'll see that there's still a problem because the kingdom's been split by Absalom taking the hearts of the men and the people of Israel. And so Israel has been split to a large degree over this thing that has happened. So look down there in verse 41 of chapter 19. In 41, it says, "Behold, all the men of Israel came to the king and said unto the king, Why have our brethren, the men of Judah, stolen thee away, and have brought the king and this household, and all David's men with him over Jordan?" They're jealous. Maybe a little envious. Envious, of course, would be sin. Jealousy is a rightful thing. But I think they were a little bit envious there too on, well, why should Judah have all the pleasures of bringing the king back? So they're a little bit angry and upset about the way things have happened. Remember, even we looked at bringing back the king and how they had to organize and get Judah to even come out, and the priests and things, to do what they're supposed to and welcome the king back and say, come on back to your throne. And so that was kind of a sad deal. But then now, not only Judah didn't want to come right out and ask the king right away, all of Israel, all the ones that were following Absalom and are now left without a leader, they still have a Mesa, but they're following after, and he's trying to bring them back to David and unite the kingdom. However, these men come now, and they find fault because they weren't invited to bring him back. And so that's the way it is. The 10 tribes, the 10 northern tribes we call it, because Judah is a southern tribe, and Judah, and of course the Levites were always they're the southern tribe of Israel. And so here they come, and they're upset. It says, all David's men with him over Jordan. They came across. Now verse 42, and all the men of Judah answered the men of Israel, because the king is near of kin to us. Wherefore then be ye angry for this matter? Why are you upset because the king he's in this, he's our kin. David was from Bethlehem. That was his origin. And so he was from Judah, the tribe of Judah. And so he's saying, listen, that's what Judah's saying. They said, listen, we're all family. We're all together because we're all the same Judah, okay? And so we're in 2 Samuel 19, just beginning this now on the study of getting back together here and the attitude of the men on both sides. And so in verse 42 again, all the men of Judah answered the men of Israel, because the king is near to kin unto us. Wherefore then be ye angry for this matter? In other words, what's wrong with you? He's kin to us, and we should bring him back. And he said, have we eaten at all the king's cost, or hath he given us any gift? He's saying, is the king doing special favors for us that he doesn't do for you? That's a good point. No, the king's done nothing special for them. They're just people that were of the same kindred. Verse 43, and the men of Israel answered the men of Judah and said, we have 10 parts in the king. Oh, okay, he's the king over all of Israel, and we have 10 parts, you only have one. Okay, that's what they're saying. So you see, just because you think you're related to him by the brotherhood of Judah, that doesn't make you any more privy to the king than us, because we have 10 parts here, 10 different people that we represent of the tribes of Israel. Israel, of course, being Jacob. We have 10 parts in the king. We have also more right in David than ye. They're saying, oh, well, because there's 10 of us, it's 10 to 1, and so we have more right than you do. So you see what's happening here. There's some enviousness here. There's some friction going on. Why then did ye despise us, that our advice should not be first had in bringing back our king? So he's saying, why didn't, there's 10 of us. Why didn't you call us all back to bring the king back? And the words of the men of Judah were fiercer than the words of the men of Israel. And so they're having this fight over the continuing split. It's kind of like, well, we're trying to mend this up, but you're the wrong one. No, you're the wrong one. I mean, just like the Civil War that went on here in the country. And so we see that. Now in chapter 20 of 2 Samuel, we see there happened to be a man of Belial, whose name was Sheba, the son of Bichri, a Benjamite. And he blew a trumpet and said, we have no part in David, neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. Every man to his tents, O Israel. So that's a kind of a battle cry when you say every man to his tents, O Israel. Go home, we're going to take care of this situation. We'll come back in force is what they're talking about. So Belial, this man of Belial, this man of the devil, this devilish man, is there now to stir up trouble again. Isn't it something how things seem to be smoothing out, and all of a sudden there's somebody else there that's a worker of the devil that tries to stir the stew and try to get things all messed up. And so here again, we have no part in David, neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse, is what this man of Belial, Sheba, was saying. Verse 2, so every man of Israel went up from after David and followed Sheba, the son of Bichri. But the men of Judah clave unto their king from Jordan even to Jerusalem. So the split was so great that when this man of the devil rose up, he went on the things that they were fighting about and said, and promoted. He elevated the problem. You see how he stirred it up and made it big. And so he got all Israel, who had been following Absalom, to come back and follow him now. So Sheba is the man of the devil, the man of Belial. In verse 2, so every man went up from after David and followed Sheba, the son of Bichri. But the men of Judah clave unto their king from Jordan even to Jerusalem. So we're back to the split kingdom in reality. And David came to his house at Jerusalem, and the king took the 10 women, his concubines, whom he had left to keep the house, put them in ward, and fed them, but went not in unto them. So they were shut up unto the day of their death, living in widowhood. Now that's just thrown in there to let you know what happened to the punishment of David for his adultery with Bathsheba with his concubines and his wives when he left the city. They were openly made whores in the sight of the city there to Absalom and his troops. And so that's what that verse is about now. It's saying what David did for them. And so they just remained as if they were widows the rest of their life. Absalom had come and, of course, defiled them as God predicted that it would happen. Verse 4, then said the king to Amasa, assemble me the men of Judah within 3 days, and be thou here present. So what is David trying to do? He just now gets back to Jerusalem. They have another big split. Another man of Belial comes and takes the place of Absalom and is tearing it apart and going after getting all Israel to follow him. Now there's not much said in the Bible about him other than this section, and so he must have been a great man of influence. He must have been somebody that they listened to, this son of Bichri. And so we see that Sheba leads Israel back to where they were, away from the king, away from the kingdom, splitting the kingdom even more. But the men of Judah were firm. They stayed with the king. So David came, verse 4, then said the king to Amasa. Now Amasa was Absalom's head man. He was his general that ran the army. And so now Amasa is there, and he's faithful to David. And so David thought, well, this will help, because he was running the troops of Israel against me, and now that Absalom's gone, he can be a blessing. And so I'm going to, he made peace with Amasa and put him in charge. Now, if you've been following along through this study and you've seen that Joab has been his general all his life pretty much. It's his nephew, one of his nephews, the sons of Zeruiah that you hear so often. He is in charge of the company, and now David, just out of the blue, says Amasa's going to be the head general. He's going to take over. Okay, I'm sure that didn't please Joab too well, did it? And so there again you have more problems. Verse 5, so Amasa went in. David says, okay, in 3 days, bring the troops and be here with them. In 3 days, you've got 3 days, because we're going after this guy. We're going to go get Sheba, and we're going to put down this rebellion once and for all. And so he tells Amasa, thinking this would really pull things together if Amasa can come through with this. Be here present. So Amasa went to assemble the men of Judah, but he tarried longer than the set time which he had appointed him. So he didn't come back in 3 days. He couldn't get the troops rallied. He couldn't get the people to follow him, as you could well understand, having been under Joab and his brother for so many years and been faithful to him through Absalom's reign and everything else. Now it's almost like, well, let's put a traitor in charge. He went with Absalom, okay? Let's put him in charge of us now. And that didn't go over well. So anyway, he couldn't get them together, but he did get a few, as we'll see later. He did get a few, but he wasn't back in the 3rd day. And so then David said to Abishai, now he goes to Joab's brother, the number 2 in command in the old kingdom, the number 2 man, Abishai's brother, instead of to Joab, Joab, brother. So he goes to him and he said, this is what I want you to do. So he tells Abishai, now shall Sheba the son of Bichri do more harm than did Absalom. He sees what's going to happen if it's not put down right away. It's going to be worse than Absalom, because Absalom was his own son. He thought he had some power over him or something, but he didn't. And now Sheba, the son of Bichri, will do more harm than Absalom. Take thou thy Lord's servants and pursue after him, lest he get him fenced cities and escape us. And so he's taken off now and going and gathering Israel against King David, this Sheba, the man of Belial. So David sees the problem, and since Amasa didn't show up like he was supposed to, David said, I can't wait any longer. We got to go after him now, or he's going to escape clean and have the whole Israel against us. And so he gets Abishai, and he tells him, get these guys together. In verse 7, there went out after him Joab's men. So